Most of the AI tools you see right now are either expensive prompt boxes or AI imposters. AI used to mean cutting edge innovation. Now it mostly means marketing BS. And when everything from your calendar to your toaster suddenly claims to be AI powered, the word starts to lose all meaning. You waste time testing tools that don't improve your workflow, you pay more for features you don't need, and genuinely useful tools get buried under all the noise. I get pitched by AI companies all the time to showcase their tools on this channel, and after evaluating hundreds of these tools, I developed a quick framework to separate the ones that are actually worth paying attention to from the ones just trying to cash in on the AI craze. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video, but first we need to talk about how AI got so noisy in the first place. Right now, every product suddenly wants to call itself AI first. AI CRM, AI email, AI dashboard, AI browser. When everything is AI, the label stops meaning anything useful. And here's the thing, not all AI products are the same. Some products were built around AI from the ground up or significantly reworked to make AI a meaningful part of the core product. Others are just adding on minor AI features to check a box and say they have AI. And because of that, people like us waste time testing overhyped tools that don't actually make our work better. Meanwhile, genuinely innovative products get buried under all the noise. And this isn't happening by accident. It's happening because AI sells. It's the hottest label in software right now, so companies want it on their website whether it belongs there or not. If adding an AI feature makes the product look more innovative, they'll do it, even if it doesn't improve the core job the product is supposed to do. And it's not just that every product suddenly claims to be AI. The number of AI tools being released right now is insane. And the reason has everything to do with what's actually powering these AI tools. Most AI startups are not actually building their own AI. Modern AI models are accessible through APIs from companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google. These APIs make it possible for developers to build really innovative products very quickly. But it also means the barrier to launching an AI product is extremely low. You don't need to train your own model, you don't need a massive research team. You can connect to an existing AI model, add a user interface, and launch a product very quickly. And that's why we're starting to see the rise of fake AI. Some of these products are essentially thin wrappers around the same underlying AI systems. In many cases, the entire product is literally just a different prompt box. Instead of typing your prompt into ChatGPT or Gemini, you're just typing it into their interface. Behind the scenes, it's sending that exact prompt to the same AI models. You're not paying for a new product. You're paying for a markup to use someone else's prompt box. And that's one of two big reasons we're suddenly seeing thousands of AI tools flooding the market. The second has to do with how these apps are being built in the first place. AI has dramatically lowered the barrier to building software. Almost anyone can now launch and build apps by prompting AI to generate the code. This is what people call vibe coding, and in many ways it's incredible. It means niche ideas and small tools can now exist that never would have been built before because traditional software development used to be too expensive and time consuming. But there's also a downside. When it becomes this easy to build software, you start seeing a flood of low effort products. Copycat tools, half-built apps, quick wrappers around existing AI models. Someone spins up a basic interface, connects it to an AI API, throws together a landing page, and suddenly it's a brand new AI startup. That's how you end up with thousands of AI tools flooding the market. And that flood is exactly why it's become so hard to tell which tools are actually worth your time. So before I show you the framework I use to evaluate AI tools, a quick word from this video's sponsor, Brevo. Are you still using 5 different tools to run your business? Then you need to check out this all-in-one tool. With Brevo, you can send emails, SMS, and WhatsApp messages, manage all your contacts and deals, centralize your social inboxes, and build automations that do all the heavy lifting for you. Here's how it works. For email marketing, you can choose from hundreds of professional templates, easily customize the design, and then use Aura AI to write emails that actually convert in seconds. Want to automate your follow-ups? Use Brevo's pre-built automations and drag and drop builder to create flows that send emails, SMS, and even update your CRM automatically. Instead of jumping between tools, Brevo brings all your conversations, live chat, WhatsApp, SMS, and social DMs into one clean inbox so you never miss a message and can easily respond. And when it comes to managing sales, you've got a fully featured CRM to track contact activity, book meetings, take calls, and manage your pipeline all in one place. The best part is you can can get started completely free with up to 300 emails a day and full access to automation, CRM, and multi-channel messaging. No credit cards required. If you're ready to stop duct taping your business together, click the link below to try Brevo for free and start growing smarter today. All right, getting back to the framework, how do you actually figure out which AI tools are worth your time? Because trying to evaluate every new tool that launches is impossible. And that's exactly why I developed a simple framework I use whenever I look at a new AI product. These are the same checks I use when companies reach out to me asking me to showcase their tools on this channel. It helps me quickly separate tools that might actually be useful from tools that are mostly hype. So I use 3 tests, and the first test is the traction test. The first thing I look at is whether the product has any real traction. You can quickly check this using free tools like Ubersuggest. If a tool has no traffic, that's usually a signal that the market is not finding much value in it or that it's brand new. You can also check sites like Crunchbase to see whether the company has funding or investors. Now, this doesn't mean that a brand new tool can't be great. Every successful product started out as a new product, but if something launched last week and has no traction yet, you should approach it differently. It might still be interesting to experiment with, but you probably shouldn't rebuild your entire workflow around it yet. Basically, you need to calibrate how much you invest in that tool accordingly. The second test I use is the AI relevance test, and I do this with one simple question. Does the core job of this product actually require AI? If the AI dramatically improves the main task of the product, then it probably makes sense. For example, if AI can generate a website for you from a prompt and get you most of the way there, that's a huge improvement to the workflow. But if the AI feature has nothing to do with the core job of the product, it's probably just a marketing add-on. The real question here is whether the AI is making the core task significantly faster, cheaper, or more accurate. If it's not doing that, then the AI features are probably not essential. My third test is something I call the copy and paste test. Ask yourself a simple question. Is this AI doing something unique, or is it basically saving me from copying and pasting from ChatGPT? For example, if there's a tool that charges double for an AI plan that summarizes documents, could you just copy and paste that same text into ChatGPT and basically get the same results? In that case, the AI feature might just be for convenience. Now, convenience is still valuable. If the AI is tightly integrated into your workflow and saves you time every day without forcing you to jump between tools, then that can absolutely be worth paying for. But the point is, you want to understand whether you're paying for real leverage or just convenience. So those 3 tests will help you quickly evaluate whether an AI tool is actually worth paying attention to. But the bigger lesson has nothing to do with the tools themselves. Most people are approaching AI backwards. They see a cool AI tool and then ask, how do I fit this into my business? That's the wrong question. The right questions are, what jobs actually need to get done? What's taking up most of my time? And where are the operational gaps in my business? Because most meaningful improvements in business fall into 3 categories: making more money, saving time, or reducing costs. If a tool helps you do one of those things in a meaningful way, it's worth paying attention to. If it doesn't, it's probably just noise. And that's why so many people feel overwhelmed right now. They're chasing every new AI tool that launches instead of starting with the problems they actually need to solve. When you start with the job that needs to get done, most of the AI noise disappears. You stop chasing tools and start building leverage. That's exactly why I created the Leverage Lab. It's a private community where you can get my help figuring out what AI is actually worth using in your business. Inside the community, I break down real systems, walk through different tools, and help members identify where the real leverage exists in their businesses and what's actually worth building. Because the real challenge with AI is not learning more tools. The real challenge is figuring out what actually matters. If that sounds interesting, you can check the link in the description to learn more about the Leverage Lab. If you found this video helpful, make sure you like and subscribe for more videos that help you cut through the AI noise. And if you want to understand why most AI automations fail and what you can do about it, check out this video right here. I'll see you in the video.